A long-range rifle and a pack on his back. Snowblind hunter never lost the track. He's got a gambler's hand and a sniper's eye. One shot, one deal, don't blink or you'll die. Oh, don't bend the clock. No job hustle, playing for keeps. The cold don't care and the strong don't weep. Through the frost and the fight, through the snow and the night, he takes his aim and you're out of sight. Trust him to fight Cobra, but never let him do my taxes. Cards on the table, bets run high. Every man's got a price, but he won't buy. Run the con or run the game, but on the battlefield it ain't the same. He's got a gambler's hand and a sniper's eye. One shot, one deal, don't blink or you'll die. Yeah, man is right. No job hustle, playing for keeps. The cold don't care and the strong don't weep. Through the frost and the fight, through the snow and the night, he takes his aim and you're out of sight. Oh, it's no job, do a thing like that. Some say he's a trickster, a man of the game, but when the storm rolls in, you'll remember his name. No footprints left, just a ghost in the ice. If he's got you inside, better play real nice. No job hustle, playing for keeps. The cold don't care and the strong don't weep. Through the frost and the fight, through the snow and the night, he takes his aim and you're out of sight. Deal's done, bet's called, you lose, kid. You think we call him Snow Job because he does his job on skis? Negative. He's a con artist, pure and simple. Except when he picks up his rifle, sure as heck, something's gonna fall down. Hells yeah.
Greetings, I'm Logan the G.I. Joe Gamer. Welcome to Joe Takes Classics. We have something special for you tonight. Last year was the final Cobra Convergence, as far as I know. Our founder retired, and basically the group efforts to put together Cobra Convergence retired with him, and that's kind of sad. Let me put on some background music here for us to listen to while I chat a little bit before we start these. For those of you who are joining us on the G.I. Joe Gamer channel, please join us over on From the Hill, where the main chat will most likely take place. We have Cool Gamer in the house. Hello, Cool Gamer. Welcome, sir. We have Jess Laws in the house. Always good to see you, my friend Jess. Everybody in the chat is generally friends, and I appreciate that. Welcome. Now, I'm going to swap to my cheaters, my spectacles, so I can actually see what I'm doing. Yes, we have a Luna and a red and a red. I didn't even have a hole over it, silly. All right. Thank you for saying that I have a nice shirt, Cool Gamer. See, he's not called Snow Job because of the white powder under his nose. No, not at all. Not at all. That would actually be snow. Anyway, so like I said, last year was Cobra Convergence 8, where a bunch of content creators got together and made various content G.I. Joe related with the Cobra the Enemy. Hi, Red and Luna. Thanks, Jess. And I actually got to participate in that for the last Cobra Convergence. Like I said, as far as I know. I was on the schedule, and my entry was the Crimson Guard. So I will be playing that tonight, but first I'll be playing my snow job, Joe Take, as well. Now, the snow job, Joe Take, leads right into the Crimson Guard one. They're kind of tied together, so I'm glad I actually got to put them together into one Joe Take tonight. Should be really fun to see them together. Now, I wasn't able to actually do the Crimson Guard Joe Take live like I normally do my Joe Takes live now, because I had to go on vacation. It was just the way the scheduling worked, and so it was a video. So tonight will be the first time I'll actually be with you guys in the chat to check out my Crimson Guard video. So I hope you enjoy both Snow Job and the Crimson Guard, and appreciate my take on both Snow Job as a character and Crimson Guard as a group, and as an individual troop building character. With that all being said, I'm going to pop this up here, and I meant to do it this way so that you could hear what I'm saying. I'm going to get this started, and I will turn off my music so that we can enjoy these. I will be with you constantly in the chat while we watch, and then I will come on afterwards. We'll chat. I got a new song for the Crimson Guard, just like I had for Snow Job tonight. So that should be a lot of fun. All right, let's kick this off and enjoy some Joe Takes.
Listen, no, I got a story to tell. My guy named Logan, oh, he's so swell. He's the G.I. Joe gamer. Cool and weird, dropping out those characters, heroes and villains, and midnight we shout. JoJo, or Cobra, trucking up Joe G and a Cobra tie. Joe's got straight guys, a silent ninja in black. Quick with his swords, he'll give you a heart attack. Then there's Tooth the leader, so go gung-ho, always ready to fight and make those cameos. And we can't forget about Sky, the ultimate girl power. A fierce warrior to make her enemies cower. Cobra's got Destro to supply the weapons. Cobra command, plots and schemes to rule the world in his dreams. Sartan is never what he seems. And Baroness spots that black leather outfit, shoots you quick and slipped out the back of the head. Jojo, Cobra, go. Logan's here to give his G.I. Joe taste. Oh yeah, Jojo, Cobra. Cobra got the characters, it's a G.I. Joe thing.
Greetings. This program may contain mature content. From the Hilt cautions. Viewer discretion is advised. This is
Yo, Joe! Code name! Snow Job, Arctic Survival Specialist. Full name! Holland Grade! E7, Sergeant First Class U.S. Army. Birthplace, Rutland, Vermont. Primary specialty, Arctic Ski Patrol. Secondary specialty, rifle instructor, qualified expert. All NATO long-range sniper rifles. XML or 3A laser rifle. Preferred weapon, any sniper rifle. Let's go! Combat gear, skis, multi and survival pack. Snow Job was the first Arctic soldier to join the G.I. Joe team. His talents were needed when the battle against Cobra took to the cold climate and snow-covered mountains. He doesn't particularly enjoy the cold,
but thrives on what he can do with it. He's an expert marksman, qualified on all NATO long-range rifles and laser targeting systems. Snowjaw was a major contender for the Olympic biathlon before his enlistment. He can still ski down steep mountains and pick off a target 1,000 yards away, making it back to base before the end of a poker game. His reputation precedes him not only as a skilled target shooter, but as a major con artist. Snowjaw stands a legendary within the barracks, and no one will dare take a bet from him. His teammates steer clear of him around payday. When the G.I. Joe program reorganized, Snowjaw returned as a member of the Arctic unit. He won more card games than anyone cares to remember, and he never misses a shot. You can bet on him to be the winner. Marcel Romano, never bet against me. Yeah! From General Hawk's files, he is a highly qualified individual. The definite choice pick for the team. His talents with the rifle are as legendary as are his all-night card games. Snowjaw is for the Arctic experts that really doesn't like the cold. Very strange since he's a force-vested in that environment. If we miss him, we figure he is in one of two places: out target shooting or out spending the pay. He won off the last poker game he played. Trust him on the battlefield, but never take him up on any sure bets. Submitted by Lieutenant Cutter. I trust him to run my Arctic ops, but I'd never let him do my taxes. Submitted by Rock and Roll. You think we call him Snowjaw because he does his job on skis? Negative, he's a con artist. Pure and simple. Except when he picks up his rifle. Sure as heck, something's gonna fall down. Snowjaw! He is a highly qualified individual. I never knew my taxes. He's a con artist, pure and simple. Negative. He's a con artist, pure and simple.
There you are. Now all I gotta do is... What the heck? Oh no! It's another Cobra convergence! It's Cobra again! Greetings, I'm Logan, the G.I. Joe Gamer, and today I'm here to talk about Snowjaw from the Hilt, Joe Takes 49. We're going to start out like we normally do by looking at the vintage figures. And yeah, if I look a little wrecked, it's because I've been having a rough couple weeks, but I'm doing okay now. I'm putting around, I got everything ready to go. So here's my original Snowjaw. I do have his original gun. I do not have his original gear other than his gun, and as you can see, this is one of the prime examples of the white figures yellowing really badly. However, in 2009, I was able to pick up a 2-pack with a modern Snowjaw and a vintage Snowjaw style, the old ring style, with Polar Battle Bear and a Rock Slide. But I wasn't able to get those out. Like I said, rough week, a couple of weeks actually. But I do have the figure there here to show you a really nice example of what a really good looking Snowjaw can be. No white, no yellowing on the white, and the paint applications on this were really good. He does have that original LMXR 3 GI Joe standard rifle, and then he has skis in his backpack and ski poles. Now, this all you can stand him up on the skis. It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna be doing that today because, like I said, these vintage figures. This one not so much. I probably could be okay with this one, but I want to get right on to some other things. So we're gonna start with a carded modern snow job. I like these modern figures. I know a lot of people don't, but I do have one of these out of the package as well. But I don't normally show the modern figures on Joe Takes, unless I don't have much else to show. Yeah, he was originally Staff Sergeant E6, but he got promoted. So, yeah, all the original Joes got promoted at one point or another. That'll take us to the classified box, which I actually thought was pretty cool. I do like this artwork for Snow Job, and I'm glad they carried it over to the side. He's number 67 in the series. Now, on the other side, they have kind of like that. And then they have him on the side here like this. And on the back, what they have is him and all his accessories. And so we're going to be taking a look at that. But a couple other things came in this box. One was the Snow Job footlocker, which that is number 67. Which it's all good what number he is. I do like this box he came in with the black and white art of the image on the cover and the side, and I like to put them up side by side so you can get a look at them in color in black and white. And I think it's right. There it is. All right. Now, this particular Snow Job came with a lot of extra accessories. It was supposed to be a deluxe figure. I don't think the accessories were worth the extra expense that you pay to get a Snow Job. Now, Maritza was here in the chat. You're still here. Hello. Hola. But I just wanted to jump right into talking about Snow Job today because I got a bit to talk about, and then there's a bit coming up on next month that I wanted to chat about too at the end of it. But here's the classified Snow Job. He doesn't really want to stay on this particular battle stand all that well. There are a lot of the classified shows are like that for some reason, but I can get him to stay. But anyway, I'm going to compare him to the nice vintage one. And as you can see, they did a pretty good job. I mean, he's even got the pockets on the shoulder, but they didn't paint him black. But I don't mind that at all. I think it's better than white. He does have his sidearm, which on the classified, I can pull it out and show it to you here in just a second. But it has the visor and the goggles and the parka, the hood that covers him from protecting from the snow. Now, like I said, I'll pop this sidearm out and give you a decent look at it. Let me see what I can. Maybe if I put my hand behind it, there you go. I like this particular sidearm. It's not an M19 11A1. It actually looks like a 9mm. But a lot of the newer stuff is switching over to that. Even though the 9mm is a good gun, but I think the M19 11A1 was a more, we were talking about this last night, but a more on my Friday show, but a more reliable and higher a caliber of a gun, and so I had more firepower, and it doesn't it has less issues. Let's just put it that way. 9mm, however, are more readily available, and that's how that works. So if you're still around here, Maritza, hola. We got Couching and Slouching with C Bizzle. How you doing, C Bizzle? Hey, Logan. Thanks for joining me. Talking Snow Job today. Here's the classified version. I did want to show some of the variations on the gear. On the original, the skis actually snapped into the backpack like this. On this one, they actually slide into the backpack. I think that's pretty cool. And let's That's the little peg right there. Then you got your backpack there, and you got your ski poles locked in there too, just like on the vintage. However, there is a spot inside the backpack that you can slide his rifle into. Now, they didn't give you this, and he was the first one to ever come with the standard XMLR laser rifle 3, like on the vintage. They didn't include that with this figure. However, they made a smart move. Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, I like Snow Job a lot. He's definitely on in my higher tier of my favorites. Out of my top 10, but he's up there, man. There's so many Joes, so it's hard to pick favorites sometimes. Now, this is the rifle he came with in the classified series. Now, this is a right proper sniper rifle. So there you go. Now, Snow Job, contrary to everybody's retconning of it with the Larry Hama saying Shooter was the original sniper for G.I. Joe. In the action figures, when they came out, Snow Job was your first sniper. They didn't call him that. They called him a marksman, an expert marksman and everything, but in the file card, it mentions, as you heard at the beginning, that anything that he aims at, he shoots. Sure as heck, something's gonna fall, because Snow Job is a sniper. And I'll talk a bit about that when we get into the comics and the character bit here in just a little bit. I did want to show you what the other things he came with. Their justification for making him a deluxe figure. He came with Tripwire. Now, that came out around the same time, came with a bunch of extra stuff, and I thought that was worth the deluxe figure price. But these are snowshoes, and they don't stay on his feet very well. I mean, you could get them to stay, but not. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And the other option they gave you to justify that it was a deluxe figure, which they've done with regular figures. I don't know. I think you could exchange the head for an alternate head, which is kind of cool. And you can put the goggles on this too, but I'm not going to do that because it's a pain to get the goggles on this head right here and in place. But here you go. Snow Job with the parka hood down, and it comes with a little the folded back hood accessory that you can have underneath the head, which I thought was pretty cool. That's just, but maybe that's just me. But I thought they did a really good job with the figure itself. I don't think it was justifiable to make the price a deluxe figure, but still very cool. The classified figures now are just kind of hitting it out of the park. I'm going to put this, if I can, this, yeah, you got to get it lined up just right. I put the regular head back on it. Now, I do like the classified series a lot, and that's why I started this series originally. Now, we'll have to talk about the character, because, that's what we do here on Joe Takes. He started in the comics right out of the gate in issue 11. He was right on the cover right there with the Polar Battle Bear. Doc behind him with the Viper glider of all things, with a Cobra Trooper there underneath. I thought this was a really dynamic cover just for its time, and it still kind of is. I mean, I do like this. The face on this, they have Snow Job pulling. I know they're trying to avoid getting shot at, but I don't know. I like it. It's kind of cool. But in this storyline, Snow Job didn't really have a lot to do. Doc was kind of the hero, which was cool. But Larry Hama, I don't know. He didn't really do a lot with Snow Job. How many Arctic missions can you do, right? But Snow Job had some cool moments, and I'm glad for that. The actual coolest moment for Snow Job was when Snow Job, Quick Kick, Stalker, and Outback were ordered to go in and get this ambassador out of. Oh, now I'm drawing a blank on the name of the Barovia. That's the name of the fictional country that Larry Hama came up with. And what happened was the mission went bad. They ended up they got their orders got messed up, and the State Department had actually
rescued him and exchanged him for somebody else, the guy they were supposed to rescue. So when they got there, they broke in just like they were supposed to, but there was nobody there. He was gone. And so they were on their way out. They got caught trying to escape. And they ended up becoming fugitives in Barovia for a little bit, but they got caught right away. But Stalker ordered Outback to get out because Snowjob and Quick Kick were both injured. And so Stalker stayed behind because he was the leader and to look after those two Joes. And he ordered Outback to get the word back to the Joe team. Hello, Sydney Cat. Happy Catter Day, beautiful friends. Thanks for giving us some time and hanging out with us a little bit. I'm talking G.I. Joe today. One of my favorite subjects. But it's good to see you. Thank you for joining me. All right, so in this particular storyline, they ended up going to Gulag and were prisoners for quite a while. And the very next issue, they had a really cool cover, also with Snowjob. Snowjob helping Quick Kick along, because Snowjob wasn't injured as bad as Quick Kick. If Quick Kick hadn't been injured so badly, they probably would have got away. To be honest, I mean, Snowjob could have weathered it, the injury he had, because they patched him up and they put him in prison, and they had a rough time of it in the Gulag. But then they, later on, they were rescued by Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and Scarlet, a whole group of Joes that weren't supposed to rescue them because they were ordered not to, which really, I think was sucked. But things happen, and that's life. But my actual favorite cover with Snowjob was in an issue of Special Missions, and I'm gonna break this one out. Now, again, I'm a little disappointed because it came out in a time period where there was another Arctic Trooper that had come out with the same rank as Snowjob at the time, and they didn't really. Snowjob wasn't in command of this mission, which I thought was odd, seeing how he's the highest ranking snow trooper. If I remember right, they put Frostbite in charge. Let me see here. Got everybody wanting to talk to me right now on my Discord. Sorry if you're hearing all those woohoo. But that's what that is. Yeah, Frostbite was in command, and that's okay because it was his Snowcat. They were in most of the time. We got a Kenneth Bird in the chat. Hello, Kenneth. How you doing today? Let me get this up here. It's good to see you, buddy. I'm talking some Snowjob today, G.I. Joe. And now this mission went really well. It's a special mission, most of them do, and it was all-out Arctic action. I did like that, and they did feature Snowjob on his skis. But this issue was actually mainly about a character called Blizzard, and it was kind of his debut, and that's really why they went with that. Hello, Cool Gamer. But I am glad they featured Snowjob prominently on the cover. Good day, Kenneth and Cool Gamer. I agree. And I'll show you the one on the back here, but it's got nothing to do with Snowjob, because I do have the whole Special Mission series, which is nice. It's good artwork, but we're talking Snowjob today. Now, as far as anything else, I don't remember a lot of storylines with Snowjob after that in the original Marvel Comics run. And the Special Mission series only ran 8 issues after that, and it was monthly at the time, so only about 8 more months after that, so there's not a lot of opportunities. We have a Barry in the house. Hello, Barry. How you doing? I don't think Larry Hama had a lot of opportunities in his storyline to include Snowjob. I know there were a few after that in the IDW series, but I'm not as familiar with that series as I am the Marvel run. Barry, yippee. All right. That takes us to the Sunbow cartoon, because he was not in the Geek series. He was the only vintage figure he had was the '83 version of Snowjob, and they did not have another one until 1997 when he came out in the 3-pack, and I did not get that one because I already had that figure, and at the time I wasn't really as into collecting G.I. Joe. It happens. We go through periods in our life where we either don't have the money or we're doing other things, and I was working, so that's where I was at with that. Maze Mind, howdy y'all. Good to see you, Maze Mind. Thanks for joining us. I'm not sure what that means, but it's all good, man. Hello, Scat. Scat, Sydney Cat. Very saying hello. Give me just a second here. I'm having a nose issue today with my asthma. So let me stop my cam. Oh, really? I still got my radio dude up there. I need to put a G.I. Joe up there, don't I? There we go. That'll work. That'll be the G.I. Joe gamer. You guys don't need to see this. It's been, like I said, it's been kind of a rough couple of weeks, and some days I feel better, and some days not. But my medication's kicking back in, so that's helping. Saturday in the park, almost the 4th of July. Yes, sir. Yeah, there's a lot going on this next week, and we're almost into July, which is pretty cool. So, all right. So in the Sunbow cartoon, he first appeared in the the original miniseries, Menace and the Mass Device, which they call G.I. Joe: A Real American Hero now, but originally that's what they called it. He had a storyline with Flash, Snake Eyes, and Scarlet, where they were in the Arctic trying to get these crystals from Major Blood and a bunch of Cobra troopers. And they got into the mine first, and they used the polar battle bears, and it was really cool. And that was the one where Snow Job was in command of that mission. I thought that was great. And they ended up having Snake Eyes save them from the explosion in the mine that released all the radiation, and they were able to escape while Snake Eyes stayed behind. And it was a real tender moment and a cool moment for Snow Job. However, the cartoon, my favorite Snow Job episode was Haul Down the Heavens, and there was a scene in that where him, Flint, and Lady J went up to the Arctic to find out what Cobra was doing. Cobra was basically had this big device, and they were trying to melt the polar ice caps. It's a ridiculous theory, but it was a fun episode of G.I. Joe in the cosmic scheme of things. And just dropping by to like the stream. We appreciate that, Maze Mine. Thank you very much. You take it easy, bud. Thanks for joining us. Nice to see you. But no, in the cartoon in Haul Down the Heavens, him and Flint almost got captured, and Flint ordered him to escape. A very similar situation with Outback and Stalker and Snake Eyes and Quick Kick in the comic series. And so Snow Job was trying to get the word back to the Joes what was going on, and he got into a confrontation with a Cobra officer and ended up getting 3 tranquilizer darts stuck in his arm, and they took out the Cobra officer and avoided a polar bear, which kept going in and out of the episode. It was really funny, and he wandered through the Arctic there in the snow for hours. And the Baroness said, "Oh, he's gonna die. He's, don't worry about him, And I think it was one of the Cobra troopers who said that he's finished. So they didn't bother going after him. And Snow Job ended up passing out because he was filled with tranquilizer darts. And he got some Native Americans, Inuits, came and rescued him, and were able to, with his ramblings, figure out that he needed to radio the Joe team, and so he told them what frequency to use, and so they radioed the Joes, and Ripcord came and rescued Snow Job and gave him the proper antidote, and Snow Job actually almost died, but I think he got the word back to the Joes, and of course the Joes went up with hovercraft and saved the day. It was pretty cool. Wow, Snow goes through a lot. Cool storyline. Yeah, it was a really cool storyline. They had a few with Snow Job in the cartoon. Another one that stands out was in the 2nd season, where again he got captured by Cobra a little bit, but he went in to rescue Iceberg, who had been turned into a killer whale. It was an interesting storyline, but it was more about Iceberg. Yeah, that episode too. Iceberg goes south. So in a lot of instances, Snow Job got pushed to the side, but there were moments for him to shine. What they did not focus on was the fact that he was a marksman and was an actual sniper. So, it was a cartoon, and the comic, it's like they totally forgot that he was a sniper most of the time, but he was a great shot. And there was a scene in that storyline of the comics, this one here, where they escaped, where there was an opportunity to have Snowjob shine, and Larry Hama opted to have Stalker use a sniper rifle to kill an enemy that had really hurt, tortured them while they were in the gulag. And I think that would have been cooler. It was neat that that Stalker did it, but I think it would have been cooler if Stalker would have went to his Joe Skills and handed that rifle to Snowjob and let Snowjob do it, because Snowjob was their marksman at the time, And well, later on they had Lowlight, other marksmen, but in that instance, their sniper was sitting right there, and Larry Hama didn't utilize that. Larry Hama wrote some really cool stories, and I'm just a stickler for Joe specialties and stuff. And I got a different version of the on Joe takes that I showed at the beginning. I got a different version of that. It's just as a file card that I'll play to end out the show today. But got a little bit to talk about before that. And for starters, where I see Snowjob in my Joe version. He is their Arctic leader. He is their sergeant. He's their platoon sergeant for the Arctic ops team. They are part of the Charlie Company, which would be on the USS Flag, where the flag transports them to wherever they need to be or flies them to wherever they need to be. And they're under the command of Cutter. And above that, of course, you got Admiral Ledger and Admiral Killhall, depending on where you're at with that. I actually see that I use both admirals. I use Admiral Killhall as the commander of the flag, and Admiral Ledger is like their Pentagon liaison. That's the way I see that in my head canon. I know in the cartoon they had Admiral Ledger in command of the flag and all that, and I think they missed an opportunity to actually show off the really cool figure that Killhall is and was. And in 1991, they actually brought Killhall out again in a new version. I was able to pick him up at that time, but I never was able to get the USS Flag. But Snowjob, he leads the Arctic Ops teams, and you've got you have Iceberg that came out in 86, 88, you had Blizzard, 87, you had Avalanche, and all four of those dudes was in that special missions behind me there, which was really cool that they were able to showcase the Arctic team in a comic book. That's what I loved about the special missions. They were able to focus on just certain fire teams, and that was Snowjob's fire team. He had Iceberg, Blizzard, and Avalanche, and that was a four-man fire team. And he was their squad leader, and that's kind of how I see it. Now later on, they added a Joe named Snowstorm. Very similar. I think they should have just brought Snowjob out again, but they didn't. So they added a new character called Snowstorm, and so they had a new Arctic guy at the time, and they also Stalker came out as a Tundra Ranger in '89. So he was able to go on Arctic missions, but they never utilized that in the comics. They had him walking around in his Arctic gear as a Tundra Ranger, but they never actually had him in the Arctic in the comics. Now, of course, they did have him in one of the cartoons as the Tundra Ranger, but again, not in the Arctic. It's funny. I don't know why they didn't utilize that with the whole Arctic storyline and stuff. But there was another cartoon that Snowjob was in called Operation Mind Menace, where he got to actually take the team out. Let's see, Duke was in command, but Snowjob was leading the Arctic mission. It was kind of cool. So yeah, check the cartoon out. The Sunbow cartoon did a lot of really cool stuff. Larry Hama did some cool stuff in the G.I. Joe or Real American Hero Marvel run. Now he continued that in the IDW run, and I don't know if he had any Snowjob storylines in that. Not the ones that I read. I've probably read about half of them from issue 155 and a half up to 300, where they ended it, and now they're in Skybound, which is a branch of Image Comics, and he's continued his run with the issue 301, and now I think they're on 306 or 7 at this point, because it started back in January or even December. But there it is. Snow Job. Snow Job didn't really have a lot to me, as many appearances in the comics. Now there was an Action Force and a GI Joe UK version that may have done some stuff with Snow Job, but I'm not really familiar with that either. In the United States, we didn't get a lot of those. They did try to do a Marvel UK in the 90s and bring some of that over here, but I don't know if it really panned out that well because they stopped doing it pretty much right away within just a few years. So, but it was nice that they had that exchange with Britain. They had some of their stuff over here and some of America's stuff over there, and so Marvel had a UK division. It was kind of cool. But for me, like I said, Snow Job's my Arctic squad leader. I like the idea of Frostbite being an Arctic squad leader too. So they have actually the two of them, and with the full team, they're the go-to guys. And then in 1990, they actually came out with I'm drawing a blank on his name. There's so many GI Joes, but there was a lieutenant that came out, and he's the officer in charge, and Snow Job is their squad leader. So if I ever I might do a Joe Short take on the lieutenant, because now I'm wanting to remember his name. Oh man, I'm racking my brain right now. Maybe I'll remember before I'm done talking here. But that's my take on Snow Job. I really like the character. I think he's still the best Snow Trooper. He's my favorite of all the Snow Troopers that have come out. Oh man, it's killing me because it's right there. But maybe I'll remember. I'm gonna look it up. You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. That's how determined I am right now to find out what that dude's name was. And I'm gonna slap myself really, because man, I know these characters pretty much backwards and forwards most of the time, but some days, man, it's like, where's my hit? There was Cold Front, which came with a new vehicle called Avalanche. So that was another Snow Trooper, but I never had him. It was Sub-Zero, that's right. He had the same name as the Mortal Kombat character. So they had Lieutenant Sub-Zero, and that was kind of cool. Hello, Coco B. Living in a city where winter is part of its nickname, Snow Job was a fave. Yeah, for me too. In my games, as a young guy, I had Snow Job rocking those Arctic missions and in command, because that was his specialty. That's what they had him. That's what they hired him to do, and that's what he did. Now, I think they missed a lot of opportunities with Snow Job, and a lot of the other Arctic troopers as well. But Snow Job for me is the go-to dude for Arctic Ops, and he's my squad leader for the Arctic Ops team, and Sub-Zero is his lieutenant, which is kind of cool. I like that officer, the NCO, non-commissioned officer dynamic between a lieutenant and a sergeant, and I'm glad they actually finally got that all into the G.I. Joe storyline, because I use that. So again, that's my take on Snow Job. What we got coming up, like I said, I'm going to play that file card at the end of the episode. It's different from the Joe takes I played at the beginning. In July, which for G.I. Joe stuff that I've got coming up on our channel, I have been invited to participate in Cobra Convergence, which you saw a little bit in that All Joe takes at the beginning. If you watched it, if not, it's not in the file card. It's just all about Snow Job, which is what I wanted to showcase. But I'm on the calendar for July 27th, and unfortunately that fell right where I'm going to be on vacation that couple of weeks right there, and I will not be home. But I will be filming that episode of Joe Takes episode 50. It's going to be a big episode, and I will premiere it on July 27th at noon, just like I do my regular Joe Takes when I have them now. And I'm thinking about switching Joe Takes back to midnight, but that's really hard when I do my Friday show. So I do enjoy just kicking back here on a Saturday and chatting with you about G.I. Joe stuff. But it's Cobra Convergence next month, and my goal and I've already got a bunch of them made, and I want to make some more, is to have a file card like music video come out every day in July and August. In July, it's for Cobra Convergence, so they'll all be Cobras. And in G.I. Joe, I'm going to do the same. In August, I'm going to do the same thing for G.I. Joe and have a file card. I'm going to try. We're talking 60 plus file cards. So, because I'm going to have a file card on July 27th for the Crimson Guard, of course, because that's who we're focusing on. But I'm also going to be doing a little tribute. Sydney Cat saying hello. I'm going to be doing a little tribute to Hooded Cobra Commander 788, who has done a lot of G.I. Joe reviews for the past decade on YouTube, and he has retired this year. And so he's the founder of Cobra Convergence. And I don't know what the future of Cobra Convergence is, but I am looking forward to participating in this one, because it could be the last one. I'm not sure. I hope it isn't. But without Hooded Cobra Commander, they did the 1 year he didn't want to do it. It didn't happen, and so he came back, and so they missed a year. So he did it almost the entire time he was doing his bit on YouTube. And if you are a G.I. Joe fan, there's a link in the description to HCC788. Please check out his channel. He does a lot of really cool reviews for G.I. Joe figures from just the modern lineup. He did a few classified Fridays is what he called them. It was kind of cool, but he never really got into the classified series as much. Coco B says, "Howdy y'all. With that orange beard, Snow Job wouldn't have the same impact. Smart image design." Yes, I agree. A lot of people say, "Well, he stands out." No, not really. He frosts that beard up, and he can blend in really well in the Arctic. And head down, sniper rifle in his head. Yeah, but yes, I love the contrast, and I totally agree. Red beard and the black goggles. This was just a badass figure, and it was second year of G.I. Joe. It was really cool, and the classified figure is a nice update. Now, like I said, it has the alternate head where you can see Snow Job's face and everything, and swap the goggles out. But I don't have to do it like that. Classified figures are nice, but sometimes they're hard to interchange. Well, not hard, but for me, my hands aren't what they used to be. So there it is in a nutshell. So that's what, like I said, in July, in August, I'm doing Cobra Convergence in July, and my day on the calendar, which I'm pretty sure there is a link in the description to, it's just hcc788.com. Check it out. They have a full calendar of all the YouTube content creators that are participating. They are going to be putting out something every day without fail. There are content creators putting stuff out. And one way or the other, like I said, I'm going to try to put a file card out every day. So I'm hoping that is my big contribution to Cobra Convergence 7. And then last year I did something called G.I. Joe Gold Bricks, and I'm going to kind of continue that into August. And I'm going to have a bunch of G.I. Joe file cards too. Hopefully one a day, but that's a lot of work. So I'm gonna get into it. Like I said, I have some made already, so got some of that ready to go. So I've already started on it. So on that note, and with that all being said, log it out. Here's Snow Job's file card, and I will see you all later. Yo, Joe. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate y'all being here. Y'all have a good Saturday, and I'll see you on Spine Ticks tonight.
Yo, Joe! Code name! Snow Job, Arctic Survival Specialist. Farlane! Holland Grade! E7 Sergeant First Class U.S. Army! First place, Dublin, Vermont! Primary specialty, London Ski Patrol! Secondary specialty, rifle instructor, qualified expert, all NATO long-range sniper rifles, XML 3A laser rifle, preferred weapon, any sniper rifle. Let's go! Combat gear, skis, multi-use survival pack. Snow Job was the first Arctic soldier to join the G.I. Joe team. His talents were needed when the battle against Cobra took to the cold climate and snow-covered mountains. He doesn't particularly enjoy the cold, but thrives on what he can do with it. He's an expert marksman, qualified on all NATO long-range rifles and laser targeting systems. Snow Job was a major contender for the Olympic biathlon before his enlistment. He can still ski down steep mountains and pick off a target 1,000 yards away, making it back to base before the end of a poker game. His reputation precedes him not only as a skilled target shooter, but as a major con artist. Snow Job scams are legendary within the barracks, and no one will dare take a bet from him. His teammates steer clear of him around payday. When the G.I. Joe program reorganized, Snow Job returned as a member of the Arctic unit. He won more card games than anyone cares to remember, and he never misses a shot. You can bet on him to be the winner. Marshall Ronaldo, never bet against me. Yeah. From General Hawk's files, he is a highly qualified individual that doesn't show respect for the team. His talents with the rifle are as legendary as are his all-night card games. Snow Job is for the Arctic experts that really doesn't like the cold. Very strange since he performs best in that environment. If we miss him, we figure he is in one of two places: out target shooting or not spending the pay. He won off the last poker game. He played trust him on the battlefield, but never take him up on any sure bets. Submitted by Lieutenant Cutter. I trust him to run my Arctic ops, but I'd never let him do my taxes. Submitted by Rock and Roll. You think we call him Snow Job because he does his job on skis? Negative, he's a con artist. Pure and simple. Except when he picks up his rifle, sure as heck, something's gonna fall down. Snow Job! Never against me. He is a highly qualified individual. I never let him do my taxes. He's a con artist, pure and simple. Negative. He's a con artist, pure and simple.
Greetings, I'm Logan, the G.I. Joe Gamer, and tonight I'm taking a look at Crimson Guard from the Hilt. G.I. Joe takes number 50. So before I get into it, turn this music down just a little bit. I'm going to treat this as if I was doing it live like I normally do, but circumstances cannot allow for that this month. So here we are doing it as a recording, but I'm going to still do it from the Hilt. This is part of Cobra Convergence 8, and this is my entry for this event this year. Now, this was started by Hooded Cobra Commander 788. If you check the schedule, it's HCC 788. for the month of July. Now, also, I'm doing a file card code name video all throughout the month, every day for Cobra, and then next month I'm doing it for G.I. Joe as well, for part of my G.I. Joe Gold Bricks, which will continue from this Cobra Convergence. As far as I'm concerned, I like to do that. I like to go from Cobra Convergence into my G.I. Joe Gold Bricks. Now, before I jump into the actual Crimson Guard take, I do have to say a word for ACC788, who did this for 10 years, and he did so many G.I. Joe reviews, so many fantastic G.I. Joe reviews. We all tried to emulate him. He is the best at what he did, and we appreciate and honor his contribution to the G.I. Joe community. And I thank you, sir, and happy retirement, and I appreciate all that you did and have done and probably will do in the future for other projects, and look forward to seeing you again in the future, I hope. But if we don't, thank you for your G.I. Joe contribution. He is the founder of Cobra Convergence 8, and I wanted to just make a note about him retiring this year. So let me jump right into it. So to start off, like we normally do, we take a look at the vintage figure. Here is probably my Crimson Guard that's in the best shape. I have 3 of these actually, and I will be playing a video here in a while showing you all of my various Crimson Guard figures. He has the backpack and his signature gun with the bayonet. Let's see, we take a decent look at that. There we go. Really across my forehead so you can get a better look at it. Good thing I don't have a 6 head, but a 5 head will work, right? All right, so there we go. That's the Crimson Guard. Very cool figure, and I will compare this in a little while to the classified version. Now, we also have from the vintage era the Crimson Guard Immortal. Now, I have a dedicated video to Tomax and Zaymont, and one dedicated to Overlord, who will appear in the images at the end, because I consider him part of the Crimson Guard. And if you want to know my reasons for that, either watch the codename Overlord video or the actual short G.I. Joe Short Takes 4, which featured Overlord at the beginning. Now, the Crimson Guard Immortal was a nice update to the Crimson Guard. I just considered this version 2. But even Yojo.com considers the Crimson Guard Immortal its own figure, and the only one they ever made, as far as I know. They may have reused the mold, but I don't think they reused the name Crimson Guard Immortal. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure they didn't. Now, the backpack here, you can actually take these missiles out that are flick and fire style missiles, and you can slide them right into the backpack, and it'll store 3 missiles, and that's all. Let's see, it goes in that way. Okay, that's all that they have. Now, originally they came with 6. Now, I used these for various things growing up as a young man, playing my various adventures. I used them as clubs. I used them as missiles. I used them as all sorts of things, swords, what have you. Now, what I thought was cool is it had an attachment of a belt of bullets, and I thought that was really cool, bandolier bullets, and had a machine gun and 3 missile launchers. Missile launcher with the machine gun, and then they got the missile launcher which fires 2 missiles. Now, I originally had thought that this belt of bullets actually attached to the backpack when I was looking at these tonight, but I remembered that it attaches to the side of the figure and to the gun. So that's pretty cool, and it's supposed to actually go so you have more room. Flip this upside down, and supposed to go like that so that it can feed the bullets and they're not hanging out of the way. So there's my Crimson Guard Immortal. I have 7 of these all together, which I will show off in the video. And I don't think they're ever going to make a classified version of that figure. I think all we're going to ever get is the Crimson Guard, which I'm fine with. But they're doing a lot with the Crimson Guard and the classified, which we'll get into. I have quite a few classified Crimson Guard figures. Now, Tomax and Zaymont came with the Crimson Command Copter, which is right here. And I did want to take a quick look at this. Now, they had a night attack copter and a desert attack copter that were identical for the Joe team. I am missing one of these rotors in my storage area somewhere. It's been a while, so I don't know exactly where that went. But this is a really, really cool helicopter. Now, it seats 3, so I always thought it should have come with a third dude. But at Tomax and Zaman in there, they should have come with a pilot, possibly Wild Weasel. It also has 2 seats in the back there that you can get a couple of figures into. I don't know if you can really see them. You have 2 seats right here, and then in the back, let's see, I had to knock something over in the Joe takes right. See if I can pop this up. Now, like I said, these older vehicles are kind of fragile sometimes, so you got to be careful with them. There is a, see if I can get this trigger at the bottom. It's got a trigger. We're gonna pop these up without firing the missiles, and I did. And the wings pop open like that with the trigger. And if you pull the trigger again, it will fire the missiles, and I don't want to do that. There is a sliding door on the side of this figure, and I don't know if we can get a good look at it, but it slides. It's black, and it slides back and forth. And there is room for other figures in there, and I keep knocking my drink over. I don't know why. Because it's just Joe takes, and that's what we do. Okay, now it's not a very big area in there, but there is room on both sides, and there is a door on both sides, which is pretty cool. I always thought. So you can get a figure any side. So technically, you could fit 5 figures in here, and then you could also naturally they have pegs to put them on the sides here, and you could get 2 more figures on each side. So that'd be a total of 9 figures you could actually have coming up on you with the Crimson Command Copter or the Night Attack. I have the Night Attack one. I don't have the Desert one. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I actually really, really enjoy this helicopter. I think I like the Night Attack version better because it's green camo and it's really cool. But it came with the Tomax and Zaymot as its pilots, which was very interesting. Now, the only difference between the two is naturally that when you take off the helmet, Zaymot has the scar. And I don't know if you can see that there, but let me see if I can. Let's see if we can get it focused, and you can actually see the scar right there on the side of his face. Not very well, but you got Tomax and you got Zaymot as the pilots. And these were pretty cool figures, and I think they reused this mold one time and made these guys blue and had them like in their suit, their business suits, which was pretty cool. But then they also had they came out with their business suits. Now that's going to take me to my carded figures. I've always considered the Hiss driver, the original Crimson Guard. I do have a vintage Hiss driver, but I've already shown that off in several videos. So, and it will be in the video at the end. So I don't really need to go into that one again. But there's this file card if you want to pause it and take a look. I can get a really clear shot of that. Looks like I can. That's the Cobra Hiss driver. And of course, naturally, I have. I got lots of things over here, so be careful not to knock anything over. This is the 25th anniversary figures, the Hiss driver, and this is the only carded example of the Hiss driver that I know of. But this is the 25th anniversary Crimson Guardsman. Comes with the pistol, which should have been a shotgun. I don't know why it wasn't. A later release did come with a shotgun, which was kind of cool. And I love how they painted the bayonet silver. And I do have this version of the Crimson Guard out. I think I have 5 of them. But I keep one in the card. And then, of course, I have the Python Crimson Guard, which I don't know what happened to my Python Crimson Guard, the vintage version. I have one, but it's in my stuff somewhere. It could be anywhere. It could be in a vehicle somewhere, probably. That's most likely thing. All right, so let me set those aside. And we'll take a look at these here classified boxes. And, of course, we have Tomax and Zaymot. Now, I'm not going to show you all of these figures, but I will show you this. I wanted to show this particular set of boxes because if you put the boxes together, it forms that Cobra symbol and the 2 Crimson Twins standing back to back, which I always thought was really cool. And then, of course, their number is 44 and 45 in the series. And like I said, they have their own dedicated video of Joe Takes, so check that out. I think it's Joe Takes 21, right after Duke, I think. Duke's number 20. Then, of course, you have the number 50, which is the Crimson Guardsman. Now, I did show these in the package on the Tomax and Zaymont video. And this artwork is pretty cool, and I like how it wraps around there. And there we go. And on my promo for this, I do have. It's not going to be in the video I'm showing you here because I'm just showing you the bare bones video. Get these out of the way so I can show you some others over here. I had a lot going on this month, so naturally Cobra Convergence comes up, and everything in the world has to take my time, but that's life. They have a Crimson Viper for the classified series, and Crimson Viper is number 85 in the series and has pretty cool artwork. Now, some of the backs of these boxes, they show the figure and all the accessories, which I thought was cool, but I also like the fact that they show the accessories on the front. Now, with the window packaging, you can see all the accessories in them, so they didn't need to do that. I thought that was a neat addition for the classified when they didn't do the window packaging. I do think they should still do the foot lockers for the accessories, which once they went back to window packaging, they stopped doing foot lockers as well. And that's no good. This is the Crimson Alley Viper. Alley Viper is my favorite Viper, so I thought this was a cool addition to the Crimson Guard team. So there's that box. Oh, he's number 91 in the series, and there's the side of the box. And yeah, if you want to see it. And the sides, these other sides on these ones are kind of plain Jane. That's okay. Now there is a box inside that has a really cool black and white version of the color pick on that. And when I do a dedicated video for a character, I do show that. Now some of these blue boxes didn't have that, but there was a Crimson Bat, which I think was the first in the series to go crimson, as it were. It's number 60 in the series, 10 after the original Crimson Guard. Yeah, the Tomax and Zaymont actually came out first. That's 45 and 46. But there's the really cool artwork for the Crimson Bat, which I think is a great pick. And it just kind of wraps around to the side like that. It's really cool. And then, of course, you have the back, the figure, and all the accessories. Okay. Knock over one more. The Python Crimson Guard, which at the moment I'm pretty sure that completes my Crimson Guard collection, -3, which I do have, and I'll show you in a bit, but I was going to show them separately and together with their box because it's a really cool set. Now, on the back, of course, you have the Crimson Guard and his accessories, and the Python Crimson Guard was the number 66 in the series, and then it had really cool box art, pretty much the same art, just Pythonized. And it did wrap around the side like the other one, which was pretty awesome. Okay, so let me move some of this stuff around a little bit so that I can show you this. This is the sleeve for the Crimson Strike team, and it just slides right over the main box. And there's really, it looks like does look like a briefcase, which I thought was really cool. Of course, you have the bottom with the information on it. But that takes us to the actual box itself that the sleeve protects. Now, what I thought was cool was it looked like a briefcase too, and it opens like one. And I thought this was really cool. It looks like a bunch of gold bars in there with some readout and a computer on the back, and even a little bit of chuckles in there. And of course, it's got designs for a Crimson Bat in there and a file for the Crimson Bat, which I thought was neat. And also, you look inside, there is a spot for the Crimson Twins and the third member of the Strike team, which as soon as I show off all the figures, I will show you. But I thought this box was really cool and warranted showing as part of the Crimson Guard, especially in this Joe Takes 50. I wanted to make a little extra special because it's the 50th episode of the series. We'll put these back over here. We'll start taking a look at these classified figures. Here is the Crimson Guard himself. He comes with a sidearm. Now, I think he should have come with a shotgun like the original did. On the side there, it was molded on the original Crimson Guard. As you can see, comes with a sawed-off shotgun. Now, I wish they would have done the same, but a sidearm pistol is pretty cool. Plus, he comes with a sword, which is interesting. Slide that out so you can take a look at it. I like how they painted the handle black so that you can differentiate it from the silver plastic of the sword. And slide that right back. Now, what is interesting about this sheath is that it pops off, and naturally, this time I caught it. So Joe takes, I had to drop it. Now, this actually can pop on the side of the belt and snaps right into place. You got to give it a little force and put it in there, and it stays in pretty good. But then it can also go on the backpack so that he can store it that way too. And his gun, which actually, I'm going to take this off, has the bayonet and it's painted, which was really cool. A nice nod to the modern 25th anniversary figure. Now, what was really cool about this is naturally the magazine comes out and you have it without the magazine, which I thought was really cool. My new videos must be coming out for the day, getting a bunch of people saying how much they like them, and I appreciate that. Now, because I wanted to film this at midnight like I normally do for all the Joe takes I used to anyway, so we switched to noon, and I just having fun here tonight, taking a look at all these figures. Now, see the backpack, there's a little peg there. I don't know if you can see it, but the rifle actually through the trigger hole, there's a trigger guard, snaps right on there and stores neatly on the backpack along with the sword, so he can carry all his accessories. And he does have a knife on his belt as well, and this knife is got the silver paint and it has a little nice little hook there. So pretty cool knife, very decent modern take on such a classic figure. I'm gonna hold them up here side by side so you can take a look. Let's see if I can get this the same way. All right, done. Okay. Take a look at the back. Now, the backpack on the original was red, and when it came with the Python Crimson Guard, they made it black. I thought that was a nice update on the modern figure. Black side there. Now, the backpack also, if I remember right, opens up. It's got a little groove for it, if I remember right. I could be wrong, but I was pretty sure that it did, because it sure looks like it does. And I thought I had opened it up at one point, but I could be remembering it wrong. Let me take the backpack off the figure. Maybe that'll help. And it could just be molding effects, but I really thought you could pop this backpack open, but I am wrong. You cannot. Well, that's life. I've been wrong before, and I'll probably be wrong again. That would have been cool. Maybe I imagined that I could open it, because it's a cool backpack, and that would have been a nice touch to be able to store the knife and whatever else you wanted in there, and the pistol, perhaps the sidearm. But that's pretty cool. I like this updated Crimson Guard figure for the classified series, and I'm glad I get this opportunity to take a look at all these figures. I'm going to set him here, and we'll take a look at the Python version. All that's different is coloration, and it's nice to get this particular one. I do like the fact that they made the handle red on the sword and on the knife, and they still painted the bayonet, only they painted the stock red instead of the they did paint the bayonet, but just a slight gray. It looks really cool. Very nice, very subtle, and definitely not as bright of colors as the original Python Crimson Guard. I think this is a really cool update. I like this Python Crimson Guard. Very cool. All right. Now, we're going to take a look at Crimson Bat, which was the next one that came out right after the Crimson Guard. I showed off the Python Crimson Guard, who came out later, just to give you an idea of the comparison between the two. Now, Crimson Bat, it's just like the regular bat, but this is my favorite bat. And I did a Joe Take on Bats, so you can check that out. It was part of last year's Cobra Convergence and Operation Dungeon Siege, which was something I did for Cobra Convergence last year. That was my intro in the Cobra Convergence last year, my extra bit. This year, it's file cards every day. So there you go. I think I might have put myself out quite a bit this year, but I do have all the videos done, at least for the Cobras. I'm still working on the Joes for next month, but I'll get her done. There's your Crimson Viper. It's a lot like, it's the same mold as the other Viper. And I do have a video for the Cobra Viper. Check that one out too. And the Cobra Viper is very nice in crimson. Yeah, I like the blue scarf too. That's a nice touch. Reminds you of his the Cobra Blue roots. Of course, we've got the Crimson Alley Viper. Very cool version of my favorite Viper. Now the orange and blue looks really good, but this black and red Alley Viper, I have a modern 25th anniversary style Alley Viper in this color. They didn't call him the Crimson Alley Viper. He just came out that way. So I like the fact that they called him the Crimson Alley Viper. I love how the visor comes down and he has a heads-up display inside. And I don't know why anybody would ever display him that way when this looks so freaking cool. Maybe get a closer look. It looks like fangs. I think that's badass. And then the backpack has the crossbow and the crossbow gun and the grapple all hooked up on it. And the coolest part about the Alley Viper is naturally that shield. The shield is badass, and the way he grips it, you can turn it all the way around. You can spin this sucker so that he can use it as a weapon, however you want it. This thing is, once he's got a grip on it, which isn't easy to do sometimes, but once you get it all set up in there and he's got a grip on it, got a pretty cool shield. And he's got on the inside, naturally, he's got the heads-up display in there so that you can check out enemies from behind the shield and hide behind the shield and fire and still see the enemies. It's a really cool figure and a nice update to the original 1989 Alley Viper. Now that's going to take us to the Crimson Command team. And naturally, you've got Tomax and Zaymot. And I did a Tomax and Zaymot dedicated video, but I did not have these figures at the time. So I'm going to take a look at them here. They came with all the same accessories with one exception. They came with their own battle stands with their names on it, if I can do this right. So this is Crimson Strike Team Tomax and Crimson Strike Team Zaymot. If I got that right. Zaymot, Tomax. Yeah, I got it right. Okay, sweet. And naturally, the only difference between them, other than the armor on the shoulder and the way they have their accessories laid out on them, is the scar on Zaymot's face, which I have to say, the way they did the scar on this figure is really incredible. Much better than the original classified version anyway. Naturally, the Crimson Strike team came with a third figure and arguably the new leader of the Crimson Guard, because Baroness outranks them in the Cobra hierarchy. And there were several accessories for the Baroness that came with this. She was the definite star of the pack with her own battle stand with her name on it, which I think all the G.I. Joes should come with that, not just the retro line classified. She had another alternate head, but both heads have it so you can take the hairpiece off and switch out, I'm pretty sure, 3 different styles of hair. So, like Lady J and Zorana, you could take the hair pieces off and put a new hairpiece on. I really wish they would have just done head sculpts, new head sculpts. And for this Crimson Command Strike team, which was rather pricey for 3 figures, a lot of people think, that's you got off cheap for 3 figures, but 3 figures, $25 each, which is what they were at the time. That should be $75. This was like an $80, $90 set.
and they call it a deluxe set. And for the accessories it came with, I think they could have done a bit better, but I usually do for the price point. I think they should always give more if they're going to charge more, but they didn't. Baroness came with guns and extra knives and stuff, and the 2 golden pistols, and very nice looking figure. And I like to use this for other things because you can pop off this head and put a lot of other female figure heads on and turn them into Crimson Guardsmen, or Crimson Guards women, as it were. So that is my look at the classified figures and the vintage figures. We'll get these set out of the way so that I won't be knocking them down as I'm talking here, because I guess I'm Italian in some interest, if I can speak properly, in some instances. And I talk with my hands a lot, you know. Now, I do have a little bit of Italian in me, but not much. I'm mostly Irish and German, but that's just life. I'm an American mutt, is what I like to say. But Joe, you know, there's proof his nose is cold, right? So my look at the Crimson Guard is going to continue with the Sunbow cartoon. They were utilized extensively. They were in Revenge of Cobra, where they first appeared. They were only used as guards in Revenge of Cobra. In the TV series, once they went into the first season, Tomax and Zaymont were used extensively, you know, no pun intended, because they owned extensive enterprises. And the Crimson Guard, they were working as scientists undercover. They were undercover as anthropologists in the one with the dinosaurs. I mean, they really used the Crimson Guard to their fullest extent, really. I think they could have done more, but why? They had a blue dress Crimson Guards woman in a blue uniform, but it was a Crimson Guard uniform in Syntho Conspiracy, called Cadet Benny, who was conducting an interrogation and learning how to do that, and she just about lost her mind. It was pretty cool. She was interrogating Shipwreck. I'd say, yeah, let's put a trainee on Shipwreck. That's a wise move, right? But the Crimson Guard, I really enjoyed them in the cartoon. There was one instance in the cartoon where Destro had tried to get the super fertilizer, and he tried to convince Cobra Commander that, you know, it was more dangerous than any weapon, you know, that he could come up with. And he was like, bah. And he threw this bean out the window, and it grew massively. And so he went to gloat with Destro, and naturally that's when the beanstalk decided to grow up into the room and just start destroying the room and kill these 2 Crimson Guardsmen. I mean, you can say what you want, knocked out, whatever. But Cobra Commander actually stepped on one of them, and their head popped up. They were dead bodies, and it's a Sunbow cartoon. And yeah, we're supposed to suspend our disbelief and go, yeah, they're just knocked out. But, you know, that's not the way I saw it. Even as a teenager, I'm like, those dudes are dead. I had to point that out a lot in the cartoon, that those dudes were dead. But the Crimson Guard is one of the coolest things that they ever came out with for the Cobra organization. The Cobra, not calling them the Cobra Elite Trooper, that was kind of, I don't know, a slap in the face to Cobra Troopers. But, you know, there it is in a nutshell. Now, they had in the comics quite a few comics. Now, these came with, the ones I'm going to show you came with 3 packs of action figures. And this one came with a Crimson Guard where you could actually take his helmet off, and he had a Fred face underneath. Now, supposedly all the Crimson Guards had plastic surgery so that they all look the same like this, which is pretty cool. I like how they got Hooded Cobra Commander right there in the middle, just surrounded by his Crimson Guard. And then, of course, naturally, I have the one that came with the Crimson Twins on the back there, too. And very cool cover. And it's nice that I actually have these back to back, because this was 32 and a half, and this one's 36 and a half. And written by Larry Hama, actually. So it was a nice addition from the action figures to add to the original Marvel Comics run. Set that back over here. Crimson Guard. Now, Larry Hama in the comics didn't really use the Crimson Guard a lot. I mean, he started to. He even had one of them being a professor that helped them create Cobra Island, Professor Appel or Apple. And his daughter's name was Candy, so her name was technically Candy Apple, and she was dating Rip Ford. It was an interesting storyline in the late 30s, early, and throughout the 40s of the Marvel run of GI Joe. But they had other Crimson Guards, but for the most part, the Crimson Guard through the Civil War supposedly was on Serpentor's side, but Tomax and Xamot were actually working for the original Cobra Commander, and they were spying on Serpentor the whole time. And when he came back, they were loyal to Cobra Commander throughout the entire series, as far as I could tell. Now in the cartoon, they betrayed him several times, the Sunbow cartoon, but not in the comic book. The Crimson Guard was extremely loyal to Cobra Commander. It was nice to see that in the comic. I know the cartoon was meant to be entertaining and over the top and fun, but that's where it is now. That takes us to my headcanon and my Joe-verse. In my Joe-verse, the Crimson Guard is utilizing what they're supposed to be. They're undercover. They're trying to get into office. They're doing sneaky things. They're not used as frontline battlefield troopers. Now, they are used to guard Cobra Commander, and I do have that aspect of them. And I like the fact that they've introduced the Crimson Viper and the Crimson Alley Viper and the Crimson Bat. That's their shock troopers. Those are the frontline fighters that the Crimson Guard uses when they need to. Not the actual Crimson Guard itself, because the Crimson Guard, the whole purpose of them was for them to infiltrate places of power and in society and take over society. They were supposed to take over companies. They were supposed to take over the government, and they were just supposed to infiltrate and do everything that they could to conquer the United States and every other country in the world. It wasn't just the United States. But, naturally, G.I. Joe was focused in America, so that's what they focused on, which is why it was cool that they had, like, Action Force that became G.I. Joe in Great Britain and Australia and most of Europe. And then they have G.I. Joe all over the world. They have Funko toys that do it in India. They have Russian versions of G.I. Joe. I'm not impounding the October Guard. That was the Russian version of G.I. Joe in the regular G.I. Joe version, which was kind of cool. Joe, take for another day, maybe, the October Guard. But the Crimson Guard, with Tomax and Xamot at the helm, as far as I'm concerned, was a badass addition to Cobra. I enjoy collecting the Crimson Guard. I like the color red, and I like the way it stands out. Now, let me finish up by saying that the Crimson Guard, in my headcanon, they're there to protect Cobra Commander, and they're there to help Cobra Commander conquer the world, and they're extremely loyal to him. And so that's the way I would write them, and that's the way in my military action game that they're going to be portrayed, as I've started slowly introducing Cobra into that storyline, not just my deviants, which no one's sure whether they're aliens or they come from the center of the earth or an extra dimension. I've kind of left it a mystery, and it's kind of fun that way. And we've had 10 sessions as of today, when I filmed that earlier tonight, and we had a good time. It was a lot of fun, and a new player joined us, and we had a really, really great time. So just check out the military action game. Also, check out all the content creators that are making videos for Cobra Convergence 8. I hope this isn't the last one, but without our founder, I don't know if we're going to be able to hold it together. The one year that he couldn't do it, Cobra Convergence didn't happen. They tried, but it just didn't get together. So I don't know how things are going to work without him. I wish somebody would step up to take it over. I don't personally have the resources and let's just say the connections with the rest of the G.I. Joe community that others have. I know a few of the G.I. Joe community, but for the most part, I'm more into the gaming aspect and the comics now. As a member of the Spinetix panel, I do a lot of comic book stuff now too. So check out Spinetix Live on Saturday nights. There should be a link to the description on that. And when this video actually premieres, it will premiere a few hours before Spinetix Live goes on. Unfortunately, will not be on that episode because I'm going to be on vacation. but I will be back in a couple of weeks and be doing my regular shows and Spine Ticks Live. So please check us out. Okay, and on that note, I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to say Logan out, and I will play that other video for you that I'm going to add to this video. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Cobra! 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 Code Crimson Guard, Elite Trooper, foul name, there is. Birthplace, there is. Primary specialty, undercover espionage. Secondary specialty, accounting. The Crimson Guard, an elite shock troops of the Cobra Legions. All CGs must hold a degree in either law or accounting, as well as being in top physical condition. Final stages of training take place in the deepest recesses of Cobra headquarters. It is purported to involve an initiation to hideous for description Crimson Guardsmen are too precious to be wasted on the conventional battlefield. They are dispersed about the country in deep cover, assuming normal appearances and lifestyles. Watch out, that friendly new neighbor of yours might just have a red uniform hanging in his closet. The Crimson Guard are elite shock troopers that report directly to Cobra Commander. They are tough and powerful fighters, challenging the G.I. Joe team in hand-to-hand combat and unleashing their weapons with steel-eyed skill in a wild shootout. When serving with Viper Legions, Crimson Guardsmen are always called Crimson Guardsmen. Greed, ambition, and ruthlessness. Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Cobra! Crashing through the sky.
All right, let's see if we can get this worked out right. There we go. All right, I hope you enjoyed those two Joe takes. I had a lot of fun making that Crimson Guard one, especially. I do enjoy making my Joe takes. I do have another video to play for you. It's the new Crimson Guard song that I just came out with that premiered tonight on From the Kilt. You might want to check it out without it being part of the video, or just watch it here, because I'm going to play it. And yeah, I've talked to the Crimson Twins quite a few times. I mean, they are a big part of the Cobra organization as the leaders of their elite troopers. So the Crimson Guard, I actually see them more as covert operatives. So for them to add the Baroness to that mix as the Crimson Command team just makes perfect sense to me. She actually, in my head canon, after Cobra Commander later on is taken prisoner, she actually takes over Cobra, and basically Cobra kind of breaks apart without Cobra Commander, and in my storyline for the military action game, and she becomes the leader of Cobra for quite a while. So it was I got some storylines, some backstories that are going to come into play. So it's kind of fun to speculate on what could be. But Larry Hama is still doing his storyline, so please check out G.I. Joe: A Real American Hero by Image Skybound Comics. I haven't checked out a lot of those. Just haven't been able to afford it, actually, to be completely honest. But you know, I barely get a G.I. Joe or two here and there, you know. So I do my best to keep things going on this channel. But if you would like to help me out, I do have a Patreon, and let me flash that across the screen real quick so you know what I'm talking about. It's patreon.com/FromTheHills. Capital F. Let me see if I can get that up there. Yeah, there it is. Capital F, capital H. But it's all one word, From the Hill, like it shows there. Memberships are available, but joining is free, so you can go check out some of the stuff on there. I do have a few exclusives. Like right now, I've got an exclusive on there for the upcoming album I'm putting together for our Fridays from the Hill Players, or Fridays FtH Players. And they do a lot of G.I. Joe music. Well, for me, I write it and I AI generate a lot of that stuff and have a good time with it. Like this song coming up, one of them takes hold and makes, you know, it's all make believe and fun, but you know, it's how I roll around here. And I hope you guys enjoy all this cool stuff. And it looks like some of my stuff that I thought was put away has been got off the table. I'll put that away. Let's go, Lucy. Ray has a doctor appointment tomorrow, and we'll hopefully find out if he can. Oh, I hope so. I hope he's doing okay. But if he has to stay home, hopefully he's getting work with his comp. Hopefully things are working out for Ray. So, Jess, I hope he gets feeling a lot better. But I've got that one more video to play for you. And on that note, Joe Takes is my thing, and what I'm gonna say is this month for Joe Takes. Not this Saturday, but the following Saturday is Joe Takes Short Takes, and I'm taking a look at the figure Short Fuse and why I want him to be a classified figure. He's one of the original 13 Joes, and the first original one of the original 13 Joes that I had, that I owned as a figure. So got a bit of sentimental value for me there. And then 2 weeks after that, I'm doing Road Pig from the Hill, Joe Takes 58. So got a lot going on. So we're gonna have some fun with doing some Joe stuff this month. Tomorrow we're doing Fridays from the Hill. Please check us out. We're looking at the animated TV series, The Real Ghostbusters, for our topic take, plus all the usual bells and whistles, shorty shorts, attack of the prompt, cover roast. We just have a good time on Fridays from the Hill. I hope he will be too, because yes, we are gaming on Sunday. This Saturday at 5 Mountain Time, we're doing an RPG take, Tiger and I. We're looking at H4, Throne of Bloodstone, from the original ADV First Edition adventure module. So if you're not familiar with that one was the big one that did levels 18 to 100. And we had a lot of fun playing it, and I ran it, Tiger ran it. We didn't get to play it together, but we got to run it for each other at different times. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great module. So we're gonna have fun talking about that. I do have music for that on the channel and a tribute video. Then Spine Ticks Live on Saturday night too. So check us out. Links are in the description. Sunday is the Dragonhead. Jess Laws will be joining us with Radini, Katie Robbins, and Sasha, and me and the Tiger, and Jake Pendragon's RF. Monday, I am back running a game. Heroes of Havens Run will be the 4th session in that series, the 10th in the total series, and that should wrap up that adventure. So we should have a lot of fun gaming this weekend. Next Thursday, right here at the same time as Joe Takes Classics, will be our radio from the Hilt at YT 102. We're doing animated intros, all make believe that we do and make ourselves. So that's gonna be some fun. Plus, all the regular music on that show. And that's what we got coming up on From the Hilt this week. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you joining me for this Joe Takes Classics. If you're watching the replay, thank you for watching. Jess, thanks for hanging out with me the whole show. I appreciate it. And on that note, I'm going to play that video. Logan out.
Shadows move at midnight. They move in silence out of sight. Numbers shift beneath the light. A handshake here, a deal is made. A kingdom falls without a blade. Red cuts like a knife. You think you're safe behind the door, but they've been here long before. With books and bullets, laws and lead, they own the fight before it's bled. Too late to run. Shadows in red, moving unseen. Masters of war in a three-piece machine. Legions arise, empires in dread. Bow to the kings of the shadows in red. Ooh, yeah. Tomax whispers, Zaymot strikes. Two minds move as one in the night. Profit flows where chaos grows. They buy your life, they sell your soul. No escape, no control. Behind the suits, behind the lies. Steel-eyed soldiers watching by. The fight is won before it starts. Signed in ink and sealed with scars. Written in red. Shadows in red, moving unseen. Tomax and Zaymot, the kings of the scheme. Legions arise, empires in dread. Bow to the twins in the shadows in red. The Baroness commands the ranks. No man stands where she has led. Bow before the lady in red. Your kingdom is mine. Tactics sharp, deception keen. Behind the mask, a war machine. Beneath her gaze, the weak will kneel. The world's undone by lips of steel. One word, one kill. Shadows in red, striking with grace. Tomax and Zaymot control every place. The Baroness moves, the orders are spread. They rule the world in the shadows in red. Ooh, yeah. To never see them till it's too late.
Oh, would I do a thing like that?